G'day and welcome back for more Survival Impossible. I'm just taking a little a little moment to enjoy the pressurized space in here. I have updated my to-do list with a few extra items from last week's comments. So let's take a look. First, I need to make a closed visor sign, and what I want to do with that is actually see if I can come up with a little cartoon, but what I may do until then is just put a little sign above the door. I can't put it inside here, although maybe I could actually. I put the light immediately underneath the vent. I could put the LCD on the lower part of this block above. Ooh. And then I could put another warning one out here. That might be better. So yeah, closed visor sign. Next item on the agenda. Add a cargo container to the bottom of the stairs. Yes, that must be done so that I don't get trapped down there so easily. Replace the railings around the stairwell. So, there were a few ideas that I was given on how I might be able to improve this setup rather than using these as I have done, these railings. One thought I had during the edit was instead of using the full railing, use just the half, but use the top half because I think that might give me the attachment point that I'm after. Another suggestion I was given was to use the double railing, because what I could do then is move this stair out to here. Oh wait, that doesn't really help. There was a way it helped. Now I can't remember how it helped. Oh, I remember how it helped. So, I could move the stairs, both of them, across a block. So they start here, and I'd be walking up the stairs, and then what I'd be able to do in that instance is have the two top ones, and then a little light underneath. I might just draw it out and actually build it because I can't figure out how to describe this properly. So we get rid of these two. Drop the stair. Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to waste a little bit of iron describing how these things work, but I just can't think of a better way. And it's not terribly much for these things. So the other suggestion I had was this, which I think may be one of the better ways to go. So I go with a double-sided there. Then we put a... Oh, I could put a single width stair instead of the full width. I did this. No, I can't. So I go wide stair there, but to get the attachment point for these stairs, instead of attaching it to the bottom of this one, I can then find my light. I can put my corner light, my single corner light in here, which will give me the attachment point I need the stair. And that works perfectly. And I think of the solutions, that's the one that's most similar to how I'd normally do things. It also means that it's quite easy for me to put my extra railing in there. And ta-da! We have our railings around it. I could have, in this instance, moved the railing in and put a catwalk to cover that bit, but I kind of like it being open. One thing that was pointed out to me, which is really quite handy, is that your corner railings can attach like this, so you can do things like doubling them up to try and get them to cover that back part. You can use the doubles and attach them onto, say, the conveyor block here, and that would allow me to replace this one that I'm running into right now. Because it would be attached to that conveyor block, and the one over here would just be floating, but it still works. Which is kind of cool. And something I'm going to have to keep in mind for the future, because there are a number of situations where you might run into issues with how you want to have your railings, and may need to take advantage of some little tricks like that. I was also suggested to use LCDs, which I think would have been a valid option and may still be something I will do. Because I want to have like cargo amounts, LCDs and things in here, and production, power, all that sort of stuff, so that as you come in the door, you're met with all of those displays. Or I could build a little office space here because I've got a little bit of open floor space out the front here. Next on the agenda thing I want to talk about, and thing I will probably get onto today, we've got build a ladder to the roof instead of stairs. And I didn't do that initially because I have to weld up the entirety of the ladder to make it functional, but I think I will do that. but I'm going to need to fix the Splitsie first, because if I don't have a lifter, I can't actually weld the ladders as I go up. So ladders aren't great for in-progress builds, but they are something I should really use more often for completed stuff. I'm not going to need to go up the roof very often, so why not just have a ladder? I want to not get straight onto the recon drone. In fact, that probably needs to move down a little bit in the list. The reason I don't want to do the recon drone until the garage is done is because I want to build it in the garage. The garage may not be fully complete, but I at least want to lay out where it is so that I can move the thing in there, start building the vehicle lift, and have additional ways of moving the thing around while I'm building it. And then there was something right down the bottom here. Make a holographic tree for the arboretum in memory of the one I chopped down. I loved this suggestion. I'm going to use one of the projector blocks and put it inside the arboretum, and I'll make out of small grid blocks or something like that. I'll make a grid that looks like a tree so that I can have a holographic representation of one of these trees that I can't see from inside here. One of these trees inside the arboretum, because I think that'll be kind of a nice fun little touch. But what I want to do first is head down here and replace one of these. Or do I want to replace the outside one? Close my helmet. I suppose I could replace one of the conveyor tubes, maybe? Nah, I'll replace this bottom conveyor here with a cargo container. And there we go, we have our safety cargo. Yay! It'll also be nice to have a bit of extra cargo storage on the base, at least until I figure out how I'm going to get a large one somewhere. Ooh, we have a ladybug incoming. Now, this is a good point to talk about something else I did. I recently made a change to the Assertive Cargo Ships mod to try and prevent the problem that I was faced with in Survival Impossible. Not because I was unhappy with it in this scenario, but because I was unhappy with the problems that it created for people who are just generally playing with the Assertive Cargo Ships mod. I have reduced the range at which the Ladybug and a lot of the lowest level, the lowest tier ships will spawn any drones to protect themselves. Because the concept of them flying over your head and then deciding to send a drone out to attack you just seemed a little bit odd to me. I didn't really like it. What I wanted was, and what my original plan for these things was, that when you decided to attack it, it would defend itself by spawning a drone to attack you, not the other way around. So now you have to get a fair bit closer to these things. And an unfortunate side effect of that is I'm not going to get attacked by drones. Wait, what? Oh dear. Apparently it didn't get that message. I must have missed one? Oh, I don't see a drone. Yeah, it shouldn't have done that from what I was changing, because I think I changed it to around 1300 meters. Further than the range of the vanilla turrets, but not so far that they will do what they've been doing for ages, but it doesn't look like I've got a drone incoming, so hopefully I haven't broken the mod. I guess I'll have to test that again at some point. But yeah, ideally the Ladybugs and a lot of the easier cargo ships shouldn't send any drones to attack you unless you attack them first. And that's what I'd always intended for that setup to be. I had not intended it to be something that was flying over new players' early bases and attacking you. But I'm glad that I had to defend myself from a few initially, because it made it a bit of fun. But I think at this point, I've got myself fairly well defended. I want to get on the front foot and start attacking them in the not too distant future. For today, I want to get a few more of those little jobs done, but what I also want to do is work out how I'm going to arrange this garage. So to start that off, I'm going to get rid of this stuff that I've laid out here. Alright, that got rid of a decent chunk of stuff that was getting in the way. So I've been thinking about this hangar design all week, because it's something I wanted to try and get a little bit of it laid out today. I'm not going to be able to get it finished because I want to build airtight hangar doors, and there's no way I have enough materials for that. Those are going to be a long-term project that I'm just going to gradually do bits and pieces on, I think. But what I was thinking about was the general design of the space that I'm going to work with. And my thought was, I'd initially planned on having this as the way that the vehicles drove out. And having the thing maybe, you know, like 6 or 7 blocks wide and then 12 or 15 blocks deep. However, in my early ideas around this building, I also thought it was going to be much, much larger, so I thought I would have a vehicle-sized airlock. I am not going to do that. What I'm going to do is just have the things, what's the term I'm looking for? What I'm going to do instead is just have the airtight hangar doors and decompress the space inside each time I want to move a vehicle in and out, because I shouldn't need to do that very often. I'm not going to be parking vehicles in there. I'm only going to be building vehicles inside. Outside is where I'm going to be parking the vehicles, and I haven't worked out exactly what I want to do around that just yet. I don't think I'm going to do a setup like this, because I don't think it'll look very neat. I think once I get to that point, it'll be piston-mounted conveyors with a connector maybe on each side, so that I can park on both sides. But I'm not sure how to lay out the area around it so that I'm not reversing on slopes and things like that. I haven't really figured that part out just yet. So if you've got any ideas about how I might be able to set up something that kind of looks like a bit of a Bowser setup, or, you know, a larger parking area, I would be very interested, because I'm struggling to come up with a solution that I'm happy with. And quite often, once I start reading the comments, even if I don't pick a specific idea, the general suggestions do tend to make me think of something that I do want to do. If you're worried that I'm not going to be under threat because I've changed the way the Assertive Cargo Ships mod works, don't worry about that. I've still got assertive installations, so they're still going to be out there once I start moving around enough, and they will start swarming me with drones in their own good time. So that is still going to be a problem I face. And I decided I'm going to add an extra base to the battery, so once I was having a look at how many base batteries I have, which was only one. I just want to put a second one down. I must be losing the plot. When I was starting up the recording, I realized what those random explosions around the valley had been. And this strong unknown signal is what made me think of it. What's happening is the unknown signals for Reggie and Steve are blowing up around the valley, and they're what's causing the random explosions that I can't figure out the source of. At least I'm pretty sure they're the problem. I might see just how much more iron I need to make that refinery. It'd be nice to have one built. Right, production. How much iron is required? 8,200. I would have enough cobalt and enough silicon. How much iron do I have? 5,600. 8,000. Sweet. I can build a refinery. Often when I build a refinery or something large like it in vanilla, I will put down a welder to do it so that I don't have to be transferring the parts back and forth and welding the whole thing up myself. This does take a bit of time. With our scrap, I don't really want to do that because I can tolerate the time it takes me to weld this up by hand instead of wasting the materials for building a grid welder, since I'm not going to be able to build it in a position where it's going to be useful for pretty much anything else. I'm going to hook up the Liftsy and repair it, because I need to do that for building the ladder. I'm not broadcasting. Or it's... Oh, it's lost its antenna! That's what was at the back here! Oh! I need to build an antenna. I should be able to do that this way. Okay. Now we've got an antenna, we should be able to do this. Shift K. Terminal. Info. Why is it saying small grid? Huh. Remote access calls it small grid, but... Oh, I wonder if that is the main grid somehow, because it's got the most blocks? I don't know. It's odd. Odd, odd, odd. Unlock. Let's get some strength. Let's hook this up for some more power. See if I can get it charged a little bit while I'm doing everything else. Because the ladder to the roof isn't really important. I do have stairs to get up there. That can be something at a little lower priority. But hooking this up to the food production facility, which is an 80% battery charge, might be quite useful. So I should be able to put a rotor there and put a rotor part on the front of the other one. Yay! Hooked up. So now the Splitsie will get recharged. I might just lock that down so that we're nice and secure. Yay, plus 14 kilowatts. Alright, so they're going to slowly charge from the solar panels as well. That was the ultimate plan with those two. So at least now the only vehicle I've got that isn't going to charge properly is the absconder. Now that the Splitsie is plugged in, let's fix it. I have an idea that might work that I want to try. Get rid of that rotor. That rotor part. That light armor block. So my thought was, if I put the rotor on this piston, grind off the rotor part, hopeful I'll be able to do this. That. And a flat one. And oops. Then one of these. Then, if I can get myself into the position to place it, then I should be able to place my rotor part in there if I can get the angle on the block. Like so. There we go. That brings it in much more neatly. It's a much smaller thing because I've dropped it down by one whole block size. So I am happy with that little alteration. And then the Splitsie is back to fully functional. And it's going to have even more charge than it had before. Which is perfect. Now, we need some light out here. So I got rid of my other ones. And I need to think about how I'm going to do lighting on the outside of this building. I think probably the most likely thing I'll do is single corner lights in at about that height. Oh no, better would be just below the windows like this. Actually, I might do that now. I know this is getting distracted, but I think if I put lights in on each spot where there's a window, since they're all a little bit above the ground, except for that one, I'll probably change the color of these lights in the future, but for now, I think having it lit up like that, and then I may put some higher up the walls as well, but I kind of feel like leaving a lot of this building in the dark suits its architectural style. Doing all little bitsy jobs today. Nothing big. So I think I'm still trying to get my head around what I'm going to do with the garage. Right, that'll do for now. That gives me some lighting around the area anyway. So the garage, I might start by thinking about this rear wall that I'm going to have the access way through and maybe put a little office in, I guess. Yeah, that could work. So if I go with, say, light armor blocks out here. I want it to be wide enough that I could work on something relatively large, but I don't think we're going to build an inside vehicle the size of this Goofy 2. If I were to build something big, maybe having the smaller space would mean that I would design it in segments that I can then lift and put together, because that could be so much fun! Oh, yeah, totally gonna do that. So the rocket, I'll have to build in segments instead of building it all in one go. And then move it out there on a lifter vehicle and put the bits together in the correct orientation. Ooh, yeah. That could be super cool. Super unnecessary, but will look cool if I can manage to make it work. Especially if it's got like an atmospheric booster segment that's separate and I can build the parts. Yeah, I really like this idea. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, right. I need to think about the overhead time-lapse camera as well. So I do want this centered. So that's 11. Maybe I'll go 12, 13. And that'll be my corner 2 blocks. And if I'm going 13 blocks along there, that'll mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that'll, in the internal space, will be 11 by 7. Yeah. I'm tempted to make the corners of this new building the same as the corners on the production facility, but then it kind of makes it all a bit boring. I'll give myself the option to, since that option gives me the ability to place more turrets, which is obviously a good thing. But I do want to continue the windows. That's an element I want to use across most of the designs. So I'll place down one window there, and then we'll leave space for an airlock. Rats. And then do another window on the other end. What I'm doing right now is placing down the blocks that I feel I have a reasonable chance of continuing to use after this thing's built and whatever design I go with, because I'm struggling to come up with the whole design in one go. And I find that placing down a few blocks at the outset tends to help me come up with a design that I'm happy with, even if it's not the ultimate design that I go with. So if I'm going to have an office, I need to have a little room for a desk, some programmable blocks for computers, that sort of thing. Maybe a few LCDs in there. So yeah, I think I'll make this very different to the other one. It's going to bring it pretty close to this wall, which is good. But what also will be different about this is, unlike over here where the airlock goes right up to the top of the building, this one's not going to. This one's just going to be halfway up the wall, I think, is the best way to go. Just for something, just to keep it different, to keep each design, each building looking unique. That might be too far, actually. That might have to be the wall row, which won't give me a lot of room for an office, but I'll just have to get clever. That also is too far. Up to that level. And then I've got to think about how I'm going to put a bit of a window in here, because I would like some ability to see out of the office. I'm almost tempted to break the design that I've been going for and put these in horizontally for this wall. So I've got 3 spots, so I could go... Yeah, let's try this out. We'll go window wall left there, right there, and put a middle, like that. That'll be my little office area, but we need to also airlock the office area, which will mean having... I don't think I can really put that out there. I think that'll look strange, and that'll look even stranger. Or will it look strange? I suppose it depends on what I do on top of it. If I put that there and then put another one straight onto it there and use the inefficient airlock, like quick to use airlock, of just having the doors back to back. Nope, better idea than what I've done. Get rid of that, get rid of that. Stairs there. Then we go door there, second door there, and then I can put something in this space because I can still use it. What I couldn't figure out when I had the door in this spot was how I would create a nice little free block in the airlock and not take up too much of what I wanted as an office area. This works though. So then I can pop in half slabs there. Got one more block. No idea what I'm going to do for the roof yet. It could look interesting. I'm not really sure whether it's going to come together as I imagine, but I suppose if it doesn't, I could just go up another floor and build a second floor on the office or something like that, with an overlook into the garage so I can look down on my constructions. Maybe? Think about that. Certainly gives me a few options, and I can always replace those 2x1 bases if I think it's going to look terrible. But what I was struggling to work out was how I would transition from the half blocks there to these corners. I think this might be one of the better ways. So what to do for the roof of this office segment? The top of this wall is going to be here, so I've got one block to make a sort of roof design. I'm kind of leaning towards putting slopes like that on it, and maybe even replacing the corner piece with an inverted corner, the current corner piece. So then on top of that, I can place one of the light armor corners like that, and just have that coming in at the edge all the way around, and then just be flat on top. Nothing more detailed than that, which I know goes against my usual policies on greebling and making everything really complex. But I think in this instance, it'd go against the current design if I made it more detailed than that. And if it's flat, I could also add some flat catwalk pieces to break it up as well. I hope this will look alright next to the other building. They're quite close, which I hadn't originally intended, but is a concept that's grown on me. It could be too different. Could be too different. Yeah, it feels too rounded. I have another idea. It's really hard to tell when it's all just steel frame, but I do think that I've made that one a little too rounded. So instead of this, let's go with... Get rid of you, you, and you. Oh wait, I need to get rid of this too. So, then I go with square up to there. I've got my square little corner. Okay, so we get rid of the middle bits, we just have the 2x1s on the ends, and then do this. I think that's going to look a lot more fitting around the rest of it. We've got the 2x1. I might have to help down from here to really show how this looks. Gonna have to jump down again. Maybe I can jump onto there. Oh yeah, Parkour King is back. Sort of. Around these corners, I have the square blocks going all the way up. Then I have the half slabs, or in this case, a doorway, and then a 2x1 going out, and another slab, and then I go the half blocks up this and then to the 2x1 tips. And I think at a distance that looks much better. I may even be able to put some really terrible wind turbines on the corners, but don't think I need to. The other option to add a bit of detail to the corner would be to put an inverted corner on that top piece up there, but I don't think I'll do that. I think I'll just leave it for now. I think this works much better than what I had there before. I should have enough room in here to place a couple of desks and things just to make it look like a workspace, and then come into here and we'll have our garage. I'll put a few little like cargo containers around the outside and a couple of things like that for detail, but the main thing to do will be run this conveyor down to the center and to build the roof over such that I can put a rotor in the center of the roof as well. Because I want that rotor in the roof for the camera rig. Well, at least with that wall in and the design started, I've got a much better idea of the scale. And the scale's important because what I want to do as soon as I can, and probably even before I've completed this building, is move the attachment point for the Goofy 2's 2 trailers and bring the drone from down there up. I know I put that lower down in the priority, but what I really wanted was just this space and the camera rig hooked up first, so then I can take the camera rig and build the drone up and go scouting for at least ore boulders, but maybe for an ice lake, maybe... I don't know, it feels like having a scout drone might be helpful for a few things. just to at least get a bit of a clearer idea of the terrain around here and what I might be able to travel, how far I might be able to even get with the Goofy 2 in its current setup. So I'll make the entryway here, which means I can lay out the rest of this wall. And it also means that the row for the airtight hangar doors would probably be this row, because I do always prefer to have them inset a full block from my outer wall. It just always seems to look better doing it that way. And I'll have to make sure that I can dig up the ice underneath it so that you can't see the ice through the airtight hangar doors, because that's something that bugs me too. So if that's the case, I can lay out this wall a bit, and then I can... Oh, that's perfect actually, because then if I've got those two walls, I'll put the roof over. I can weld up kind of just an open hangar initially, just have the two walls and a roof. I can move the Goofy 2 out of the way, even temporarily, while I work on the drone. It wouldn't need to necessarily be out of the way all the time. Yes, 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 yes. I like it when plans come together. So, what do we got over here? We go with our 2 blocks, and then we go to our window block. I think for the garage, I want to have the roof fairly open, but I do want to put a little bit of detail in there. What I need to remember is that this is the center point from the 2 end walls. So it should probably be the point that I use as the center point for my camera rig, which means something like this should go in the middle, if I can manage to place this down without falling off. Oh nuts, I can't place it. I can't place the rotor for some reason. Oh, I can't place it because of the Goofy 2. That's annoying. I have to move it out of the way. I was given a very good suggestion in the comments last time for making it a bit safer for me to drive the Goofy 2 over these blocks. And it's something I'm going to implement right now, which is to have a rotor lock on-off for the Goofy's rotor. The bit that joins onto the trailer. All of my problem was that it was trying to spin around that point. If I stop that, it should be fine and relatively safe for me to drive it on this surface. So I've just locked it down, even though I accidentally created a bit of twist there. If I didn't do that, I probably would have ended up in a fair bit of trouble. So now, I should be able to place my rotor and continue placing my blocks across. That puts the rotor where I need it for the camera and gives me some interest in the ceiling too. And there we go. I don't believe I've got the materials to weld any significant portion of this up, so I'm going to need to head off and collect a bunch of resources. But I think I do possibly have enough to finish off this refinery. Ta-da! My first proper refinery! I'm going to need to put all the power efficiency modules and things on it as well before I start using it too much, because it will probably kill my power reserves. But I'm pretty happy with that. Now that I've finished off the refinery, what I think I will do for the rest of today is go and collect a whole bunch more iron so that I can have a pretty good shot at finishing the 2 walls, the office, and the roof of the garage next time. I'd like to be able to weld them all up so that then I can start on building, because I just realized that I have to do this extra step, a vehicle to grab the scout drone and bring it back. I could probably just slap any old landing gear on the Goofy 2 or on the Goofy or even on the lift seat, but I know the lift seat is not heavy enough to lift something and move with it. It's also just arranged in a way that would make that very difficult without it all tipping over. So I want to build something that's going to have a better shot at lifting something like that wreck and dragging it all the way up here without the whole thing tipping over. So that's what I'm going to design as soon as I've got this hangar space finished enough that I can put a camera mount onto that rotor up there. And I'd also like to get the roof finished so that I can put probably a couple more turbines up there. Even though I'm not making the turbines ultra efficient, I do want to put a couple more up there and a few more turrets. Unlike the turrets on here, where I've kind of piped it in through the wall and then popped out, for these ones, what I may well do is take the conveyor junctions all the way down the wall and then into the floor, so that then I can pipe under the floor, since I want to put a connector potentially right in the middle, as well as having a connector on the end here. I'm quite happy to have the conveyor ports exposed on the floor of the garage, because I think it'll make it have a bit of an interesting pattern to it, even though it is something I normally try and cover up as best as possible. I think in this instance it might really work. So, it is time to grab the Goofy and go and mine some iron, even though it is nighttime. Just thought of something I really want to do, because I think it'll make Reggie's stuff heaps better. Also, should probably fill up on oxygen before I leave too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a seat on the Goofy 2 trailer for Reggie to sit in. I've been finding with the relative spectator mod that my viewpoint with Reggie gradually drifts upwards and to one side, and so for these long time lapses where I'm driving around a lot, it kind of messes things up a bit. So I think if I give him a chair and just pop him in that chair, I should be able to get some better shots. There we go. And Reggie, bring yourself in. That was from quite a distance I dropped him. There we go, come around here. In your hop. In your seat. Get. Go. Yeah, that should be much more stable than the relative spectator and the issues I've been having with it. So, off to the nearest iron. Let's turn off the other ones that I don't need on right now. 1.39, and then it's... then we're getting further and further away, so let's head to that 1.39 one. I'm still thinking about building that refinery down by the stone mine, but I'm just not sure what priority to put that while I've still got access to reasonable amounts of surface iron. Oh yeah, that's right. That's why I wanted the scout thing, so I could keep finding more surface deposits. Oh. Well, that's annoying. I'd pretty much gotten rid of this one. Oh. Huh. There's actually there is a fair bit of iron here. I managed to collect like 20-something thousand kilograms. I am very glad I didn't get rid of this spot then. Though it is super awkward to mine. Okay, I think I've gotten everything I can out of this. 12, 25, 30... yeah, 30,000. It's kind of half a full load, so that's not too bad. Let's have a look down in the hole. Oh yeah, there's basically no sign of that boulder. It is gone. I also managed to collect a whole lot of ice doing this, which I might well dump off at base before I head back out. I can't remember, with my current settings, which type of refinery would be best to do my iron currently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 100 in each and see which one gives me the most iron as a result. So I need to go to my refineries and turn use conveyor system off. Then I can put 100 kilos in each and they won't drag more. Actually, maybe I'll do 1,000. 1,000 in that one. 1,000 in that one. That's all I need to do. No, that's the two basic refineries. That is not all I need to do. Now, control panel, basic refinery, let's turn you on, and refinery, let's turn you on. The refinery is much quicker, but does it give me more while it's on the, like, without any yield modules? So it's giving me 400 kilograms from the refinery. I think that's going to be a lot more. I think I want to keep the basic refineries off. Yeah, I do. I definitely want to keep them off. Alright. These values may be different to vanilla. I can't remember if I changed them because it's so long ago now. I'm going to keep use conveyor system off for both of the basic refineries. And only if I bring back stone will they get used. Because I'm going to get heaps more iron out of that. That was 400 compared to 280. That's what, like a 40% gain? I can... it's something around there. not too worried if it's not exactly that. But it's a pretty big difference. Although right now it's using up a lot more power to do it, but that's fine. I'm okay with it doing that. Alright, let's get out of here. Head off to that one that's almost 6 kilometers away. Oh, hello. There's another cargo ship up there. I probably should have eaten before I left. That could become a problem. I think I might just have enough though. And look at that, 4 food remaining. That's some pretty good timing. Assuming I don't have that problem of being overweight and not able to get up hills. Oh great, I'm hungry and thirsty. This is not gonna go well. I've just got a bit over 1 kilometer travel. I think I should, since this thing is pressurized, possibly even heal fast enough that I won't really get in much trouble at all, actually. Hey, I do. Oh. Almost. Oh, I almost get my health back before it goes down again. That's maybe a better idea than parking straight away is just put the park brake on, go get some food and drink, and then come back and park this properly. There we go. We'll need to make some more food. I'm just going to get this iron hooked up, and I think there's a decent chance with the extra yield that I get out of the better refinery that I might even be able to get these walls and roof done with just what I've brought home now. Lock. And... no. No, it's too heavy. I have to rebuild
Inventory
that.
full.
Oh, that's so annoying. Oh, this is the worst. No.
Inventory full.
Right. I think this lip is just too big. No. Why? Oh, that was only a medium cargo, wasn't it? That's not as bad as I thought it was. This might help prevent that problem happening again in the future. Just put some 2x1 slopes across the front, just to soften that a little bit. Oh, I'm going to need to put a reversing camera on this if I'm going to be parking underneath cover as well. I should, now that I'm hooked up, turn those off and those off. And we got all the iron. Sweet. Hopefully next time that will give me enough to do the office, the walls, and the roof. The roof's going to get a bit more detail at the start of next episode. And then I can build the vehicle to go pick up that drone and bring it back up here to give me a scout drone. So there's all that, and plenty more to come. And I will see you then.